got Mr. Ken Hall and Mr. somebody I've known for a million years, Greg Redding. Greg Redding, Ken, he's been in every band in Memphis.
I know it.
I remember when he was with Black Oak, Arkansas.
Yep.
But I don't remember when you were with Stephen Stills.
That was right after Black Oak. I spent about 2 or 3 months out in L.A. working with him, and then he kind of had this little off thing that he needed to go do rehab, and I came back home.
Greg Redding, he's a feature in Memphis music, you know. But tell us about it, if you will, Ken Hall. What's this School of Rock, and how did it happen?
Yeah, so School of Rock is a franchise. There's about 170 schools now. We teach guitar, bass, drums, keys, and vocals. But we have a unique approach towards doing that. I mean, there's a lot of places that you can go and take music lessons, where you just get the opportunity to, you know, have a lesson with an instructor and kind of go home to your room and come back and meet with your instructor, but you don't get that outlet, that opportunity to play with other musicians. And that's what we do at School of Rock that's so different, is we combine that individual instruction with group rehearsal. So our kids come in, they're taught something one-on-one in an individual lesson setting, but then they get a chance to apply what they're learning in one of our 3 rehearsal rooms with other musicians that are similar in skill level, all the way down to beginner musicians. We have a program called Rock 101 for beginner musicians. But ultimately, they get into what's called our performance program. And with those kids, we take them out every 4 months, and we book them at, you know, really cool venues. Like we play the Hard Rock Cafe and BB King's and Lafayette's, and so these kids are getting the opportunity to do shows at authentic music venues in Memphis in front of, you know, several hundred people. So they're getting that live stage experience in addition to just learning how to play the instrument.
Man, we've been needing somebody like you in Memphis for a long time.
That's true.
Is that right, Greg?
Absolutely, man.
How did you get hooked up with him, Greg?
Well, you know, George, you know I've known each other for a long time, and of course I worked a lot down in Tunica and all the casinos. Well, in the last few years, it's kind of scaled back to just weekends. So all of a sudden, I've got Monday through Thursday, and I'm really wondering what I'm going to do with this time. And I saw the movie School of Rock, and then I realized there was a couple of them around town, so I went online and applied for a job, set my resume in and everything. Ken hits me back and says, "Come talk to me, man. I'd like, you know, this might be something." So I go out to the School of Rock at Germantown. I'm sitting there, and we're shooting back and forth about my experience. And I've got a fairly impressive resume as far as the music industry goes.
For real.
My son says it won't get me hired at FedEx, but this may work at the School of Rock. So I'm sitting there, and we're talking now. His wife Sally, who's the co-owner out there, she was kind of standing behind me, and there was one question that I was hoping they wouldn't ask me. And I'd tell him about my experience, and all of a sudden Sally went, "Oh, by the way, have you ever taught before?" And I went, "No." And you can see the little red flags kind of going up, because, I mean, Sally's kind of the watch person to make sure nobody's doing anything wrong. But they took a chance with me, okay? I had no idea if I could do it. They had no idea if I could do it. So Ken calls me up and goes, "Okay, we're going to offer you a substitute guitar position." I said, "Sounds good." He said, "That way you can ease your way in." You know, long story short, 2 days later, their keyboard guy just quit with no notice. He said, "Man, you're up. Let's go." So I walked in to my first lesson, and when I came out 45 minutes later, I looked at him and I went, "This is really fun." Yeah. And so I'll let Ken, I look like, I think I'm doing a good job. I'll let my boss say whether or not.
No, he's been awesome.
Really, Ken, seriously, we've been needing something like that.
Yeah.
With all the kids around Memphis and all the music around here, they don't know where to go, you know.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, usually when people start to learn how to play, they want to start playing with other kids, but either, they don't know enough other kids that play, or they don't have the gear, or they don't have a place to do it. And, we kind of solve for all that at School of Rock. It's a, really cool place to be. People love to be there. The whole, vibe and environment is really cool. And then when you have the goal of, you're working towards a show, so you become part of a band and kind of part of a team. And you work for 4 months, and then it, culminates, and you're at the Hard Rock Cafe or BB King's.
This is really cool, man, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah, one of the things also, besides that I noticed that I would get emails from some of the parents of my students, it would also be things like, "Boy, he seems to be really having a great time, but his self-esteem has exploded. You know, you get a lot of kids that, you know, look, I was the biggest nerd to ever walk the face of the earth when I got in school. But I joined a band, that all changed. And see, the same thing happens with these kids. They become a member of a band, and their cool factor goes boom, 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 and all of a sudden they go to school and the kids are showing them respect, and the self-esteem thing just takes off.
It's so rewarding, because you get a lot of kids that come in and they look, you know, the kid won't even look you in the eye. And the parent will be like, you know, hey, he's not, you know, he's not a jock. He's not really fitting in at the school that he goes to, but he kind of has this interest in music. And we'll take them in, and you know, go from a kid that won't look you in the eye to, you know, 6 months later, you see him with a guitar stepping up to a mic, and you know, change the kid's life. His whole life is different.
Excuse me, but Greg and Ken, we could talk to you guys for a whole show. Now, seriously, I mean, how do they get in touch, real quickly?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is germantown.schoolofrock.com, or you can call us at 901-209-4170. We do a free trial lesson where you can come in, take a tour of the school, and do a free lesson with us before you ever think about it.
Do they have to have their own instrument or what?
You have to have well, it depends. Guitar and bass would bring their instruments, you know, to and from the school, but we have all the drum sets, keyboards, you know, PA equipment, all that kind of stuff.
Well, thanks for coming down, Ken.
Absolutely.
Greg,
thanks for having me. It was great.
Take care, and tell your lead singer I said hello.
Tell Robert you said hey.
Tell Robert he's got on a pink suit today.
A pink suit today.
Hey, I'm Memphis Sounds. I'm George Klein. Thanks for checking us out.